Give me 15 minutes of your time, and I will teach you how to teach your child addition such that he will enjoy math and will build a foundation that will last for a lifetime. Before we start the lesson, let me give you an introduction. Understanding of mathematics comes through validating theories through the application of numbers, for the ordinary human mind is too young to be able to grasp pure abstraction. Mathematics is about organization and structure so that one can retain huge amounts of information. This structure allows us to apply the same learning techniques over and over, even for the most complex of topics. Our world does not obey the laws of mathematics, but we adapt the mathematics to explain our environment. One cannot understand numbers unless one plays with them, and because technology can and does compromise this play when not properly used, it has undermined the learning process. It is for this reason we feel that the emphasis in teaching mathematics must be placed upon developing computational skills, and that the theory be illustrated and practiced during the development of the skills. For this session, we will use addition to exemplify the process in which, as a consequence, we utilize the philosophy and intent of the new core curriculum. Our emphasis will be on the parent as the teacher, since the parent is the role model for the child and the parent can give the compassion required of a good teacher. Before actually beginning addition, you need to teach your child to count forward and backward from and to 19. Teach the counting to 10 in groups of 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. This makes it easier for you to correct errors and for the child to learn. Then practice counting backwards in the same groups of 3, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. For young children, it takes time, but then they must practice it for mastery to make the next steps easy. Once they can count back from 10, have them count back from 19, using 5-teen, 3-teen, 2-teen, and 1-teen as synonyms, so that they can see the structure of the teens. Then replace the synonyms with conventional names. The final step is to give them a team and ask them for the number that comes before it. We are going to be using subtraction, counting backwards, to teach addition. Now we are prepared to teach addition, using the process of disassociation and reassociation to learn our facts. This will consist of 3 steps: 9s, 8s, and what I call the nickel rule. Worksheets are designed to ease the process of learning and to enforce the grasping of the lessons. The student is timed and tested for accuracy, with emphasis being placed on speed. As the student learns the technique, place emphasis on those additions in which he is slow or makes errors. Since we have used these techniques on hundreds of students, we can help you anticipate problems. We now begin with the first of the 5 segments on addition. Adding 10 is merely the naming and application of the structure of numbers. The number 19 is read as 9, 10, or 19. Thus, to add 10 to a number, just say the number with 10 after it, but pronounce the 10 as teen. To write the result, just concatenate or place a 1 before that number. On paper, 9 plus 10 is 19, 1 concatenated to the 9. Verbally, we pronounce it 9, 10, or 19. Now you can understand why we have discussed this topic in the introduction. You can get worksheets from the website itmeansmath.com. Have the student practice this with numbers from 1 to 9 arranged in random order. Also note that the order, commutative property, of addition is irrelevant. Adding 9. To add 9 to a number, just add 10 and count back 1. Thus, 9 plus 4 is 14. Counting back 1 is 13. Now add 9 to the same set of numbers to which you added 10. Follow the same rules as for 10. The theory is that we take 1 away from the number Add the 1 to the 9, making it 10, and then follow the 10 rule. This process merely is the application of the associative property, in which the grouping of the numbers does not change the results. Thus, 9 plus 1 plus 3 can be either looked at as 9 plus 4 or 10 plus 3, both giving 13. The beauty of teaching addition this way is that we also permit the student to understand the importance of learning about the properties of numbers. This subtle change in teaching techniques makes a marked difference with the speed and accuracy in that the student not only learns the facts, but he retains them better and longer. The design and use of the worksheets reinforces the learning process. Adding 8. For this rule, just point out to the student that 9 plus 1 is 10, and direct the student to figure out the 8 rule for him or herself. This lesson also reinforces the principle of building upon what you learn. This approach uses what would be called progressive teaching. You will also note that the line on the worksheet is identical to that to the 9, so that the learning approach is identical. Identifying and utilizing powers is the supporting structure for learning any mathematical topic. The third rule, the nickel rule. This is the most difficult to teach because it requires several extra steps. The best way to teach this is to ask the student to add the following sets of numbers: 5 plus 5 plus 2, 5 plus 2 plus 5, and 5 plus 5 plus 1 plus 2, 5 plus 2 plus 5 plus 1, until he can explain what he has done. The lesson is to use the commutative properties to add the 5 plus 5 to get 10 and the 1 plus 2 to get 3. You are leading the child to see that making a 10 with the 5s, adding the 1 plus 2 to make a 3, and finally using the 10 rule to get the answer. In this case, manipulatives can be used as counterexamples to show that other approaches take more time. I have found using 15 pennies, 2 nickels, and a dime, and trying different combinations to get the answer can be very instructive. Manipulatives become counterproductive if they are used to do the calculations. No more fingers. What is nice about this approach is it is self-explanatory. After all the play, we establish that 5 plus 1 equals 6, 5 plus 2 equals 7, 5 take away 1 equals 4, and 5 take away 2 equals 3, and then practice the next line on the worksheet. Interestingly, the 5 plus 1 equals 6 will be very useful when we are learning our multiplication facts. Adding 1 and 2. The order of teaching the facts is important for the efficiency of the learning process. The children already know how to add 1 to a number because they know how to count. The rule for 2 is just a double count. Initially, children would be the slowest in adding 2 to a number, but we had to save these simple operations for last so that if they tried using their fingers for the other rules, it would have taken them longer and the answers would often be wrong. While this does not appear to be different from teaching techniques we already know, the subtle difference makes a major impact on the speed with which the children learn. It is interesting that we have used subtraction to teach addition. Completing the process. One could memorize 6 plus 3 and 7 plus 4, or use the 5 rule. To prepare for multiplication, the children should give extra practice to the doubles and the sums to 10. 1 plus 9, 2 plus 8, 3 plus 7, 4 plus 6, and 5 plus 5. In conclusion, this approach has proved so powerful that it can be used to teach children in kindergarten and self-contained classes. It has been found that if children have been taught to add using their fingers, it is more difficult to teach them than if they had not been taught to add at all. It has also been found that when children have been taught this way, and teachers insist that they use their fingers, the child's computation skills drop. Do not move from one step to the next step until you have developed mastery at the current step. Lessons should be limited to 5 minutes, with one in the morning and one in the evening. In classrooms, the approach is similar, with emphasis being placed on the slower learners. The use of Excel sheets to track individual students and giving comparisons within classes and between classes. This approach can be done without a computer by just using the worksheets. We have observed that with or without manipulatives, that it takes time before children have a feel for the answer. In summary, after the child has learned to add, you want them to be able to summarize the learning process by repeating the following. Count backwards from 19. In the rule for 9, we add 10 and count back 1. In the rule for 8, we add 10 and count back 2. In the nickel rule, 7 equal 5 plus 2, 6 equal 5 plus 1, 4 equal 5 take away 1, and 3 equal 5 take away 2. We have used the commutative properties. 5 plus 2 is the same as 2 plus 5, and the associative properties. 9 plus 1 plus 3 can be seen as 9 plus 4 or 10 plus 3. Use the website itmeansmath.com and point to math lessons and addition to see computer lessons and to print out the worksheets. I am available at the Math and Physics Exploration Center, where I can validate the effort with your child, make suggestions, and test his competency. The website is mathphysicsexplore.org. Good luck. The purpose of this video is to show you how you can teach your children math so that they will excel in school and enjoy playing and learning math. To begin, I will show you the workspace which I will refer you to, and behind me on the board is a workspace where you can get the PDF that describes this lesson that I will be showing you. Let us begin. After you have brought up itmeansmath.com, point to math lessons, then point to addition lessons. Here it is an example of how we teach how to add 9 to a number. Count back 1, add 10. Count back 1, add 10. Here's how we teach how to 8 to a number. Count back 2. And add 10. And here's how we teach the nickel rule. Think of 6 as 5 plus 1 and 7 as 5 plus 2. 6 comes down as 5 plus 1, and 10 plus 1 is 11. 7 comes down as 5 plus 2, 10 plus 2 is 12. And here are the worksheets.